All right, sounds good.
All right, boys. That was game 5. That was a 4-3 loss to the Montreal Canadiens. Fuck them. Unfortunate error at the end in overtime. It was a shitty thing, but I mean it happened. It was a valiant effort to come back. But here we have our first reaction. We got Yeti over here. Hey man, honestly, man, I'm just gonna let you kind of just dictate what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of thought the game was going to go that direction.
Okay.
I figured Montreal would come up pretty desperate. They did. Toronto has a tendency to kind of sit back a little bit when they know it's coming. It's almost like the rope with no kind of idea. They're just like slow it back down a bit, and then they push it again when they get to the second or third. And that's generally how they come back. But unfortunately, a really bad play in overtime kind of screwed that whole up. But there was good and bad to the game, like everything. Gallagher, Nylander, both are playing really well. Gallagher has a bit of a fault on that overtime goal.
But he's the one who got us there. So to be honest, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, I love the guy. I think he's a great player, and I'm so pumped that he came to Toronto.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to make mistakes. Like, it's the playoffs. That's going to happen. We're going to have games where I'm really annoyed.
You can't rag on him too much. Like, I'm pissed that he did that. That was a dumb play. Regardless of game 1 of the preseason or playoffs, you don't ever make that play. But I'm trying not to overreact. He's been playing phenomenal this entire series. Everyone makes a brain fart. He's human. Just wash it away. Don't think about it next game. Just keep playing the way you've been playing all series long. Just don't think about that one whiff.
I think that's a good idea. And I think he has quite a bit of confidence now that it's not as detrimental to have a mistake. Whereas Kyle kind of worked on that with him as they brought him along. So
I think so. I was saying in the last video, like how the one thing I wanted to avoid was this game 6 in Montreal. Like I didn't want the fans there. Like I wanted to avoid fans because that gives them home ice advantage. Like I know we're the home team, but they get home ice advantage. We don't, right? Like there's no home ice advantage when it's an empty arena. It's just you get last change, and that's not honestly for guys at this level. Whatever, right? Like these guys are good.
I just got to interject for a second. I've already seen a bunch of Leaf fans post their tickets that they bought to the Bell Center.
You know what? I was honestly, part of me was like, do you do it? But I'm like, okay, I gotta drag my kid to that in the next game I go to, so I can't do that, right? But the thing though, Galchenyuk though might do well in a game with Habs fans there, and I say this because if he manages to start making some noise, he can try to play the villain to that crowd. If he starts doing the Auston Matthews ear to the crowd, or the Austin like kind of goading the crowd, or like legit most of this team is a bunch of dicks. If Gally plays that game and kind of goads the crowd, that actually might work in his favor. He has to embrace the villain.
I think everything comes down to, has his mentality changed from the last 3 years, where one big mistake, like Yeti said, usually it broke him. Like you saw him crumble and he just wouldn't play the same for the next 10, 12, 15 games. We have to see if what the Leafs did with him, like starting him slow, starting him in the AHL, working with them, if he can forget about it, go in there and play the same game he's played all series, he'll automatically be the villain.
He has Nylander on his line, and one thing Nylander was born with is confidence.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like that's what's great about Willie for Gally, is if he loses a bit of confidence, Willie's not ever going to.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of I think what next game is going to be, like you said, is going to be a lot of how the team reacts to having fans in the building again, and maybe the hatred will pump them up a little more. So
it's going to pump up Matthews. That's what I said before you hopped on. I think that's the kind of game that Matthews is going to stick the dagger in and just taunt the crowd, be the villain, smile, hand his ear, whatever he wants to do.
Loves that stuff.
Also, I want to read one tweet out before we continue.
Yeah.
I hate Jack Campbell.
Someone said this?
No. Jack Campbell says
Oh, yeah.
have the
Myrtle.
overtime goal. Apparently, Jack Campbell's taking blame for the overtime goal. It's a 2-on-0.
Yeah, I saw the James Myrtle like tweet, and I was just like, honestly, Jack, like, don't be a martyr. Like, that wasn't on you. It's 2-0. Like, you had to. The only thing that I did like your tweet, actually, what you were thinking, Yeti, like, where, hey, man, if you're not cheating, you're not.
Yeah.
Take the goal, the net off, take the penalty.
Yeah, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough. As bad as it sounds, but that's a really bad factor of life, unfortunately.
It's true. Now, do you guys think Foligno comes back in next game?
Yeah.
I think he's so. I'm surprised he wasn't back this game.
I think they want.
I'm impressed with how well they played without him, honestly.
I think what him sitting out this game was like, we have a 3-1 lead. If we lose this, whatever, like you're still probably hurting because everyone plays through injuries in the playoffs. They're like, we'll give you an extra game to sit because we have a 3-1 series lead. Now they went down and it's 3-2. You're going back. They have fans. Like, Foligno himself is probably going to be like, I'm coming in. Like, I don't want to sit out for this game too.
I wouldn't imagine he wants to. I think the guy wants to play. He's so happy to be in Toronto. Like, it's like living his dad's dream for him. So
yeah, no, it's true.
You got to respect that, right?
You got to get him. If the Foligno that played right before he went out, like where he was winning 80% of his faceoffs, comes back in, that's a Foligno we need right now.
Yeah, that's a really good stat.
And then a jump celebration. That's it.
That would be fantastic to see, honestly. So,
all right, this is a little bit off topic, but not.
Yep.
I mean, nothing's off topic. It's the Leafs. But what was your reaction this morning when you saw that video of Tavares?
I was pretty happy. Like I kind of had expected it because my wife's a nurse. So when he got hit, she was saying because it didn't hit him direct and it was more of a glancing blow.
Yeah.
That it's the brain shaking, and not so much. So when the brain shakes, it goes back between the head.
Yeah.
So if you get a glancing blow, it doesn't shake as much.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
the other
kind of step back was promising.
Well, the other factor I think because remember, I think it was 2 days after the hit, like there was like reports that people had seen him out walking with the stroller, like with his kid and stuff, right? And so when I read that, I was like, if they've already allowed him to walk out, that's already you past stage one, right? Like stage one is you sit down, you don't get to do anything. Like you gotta you gotta get through 24 hours of not puking, not having symptoms, just generally okay. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, but there's a lot of going back and forth between stage 1 and 2. Like you'll feel like you can do something, you'll do something, it'll be a 10-minute walk, and then you come back and like you're just fucked, right? So I was like, okay, like you never know, but I don't know. I was ecstatic. Like, I mean, from no other perspective other than like I was just glad to see the guy moving, and then
that's what was really nice to see is like, because we know that it ended up being the knee that was, I think, more worrisome for them.
Yeah.
So to see him back on the ice, working his legs again, was a real good positive.
I couldn't believe that was happening. Like he's skating back and forth. I was just the way from like a week ago, how that hit looked. And then now you're a week later and you're watching the man just skate back and forth, just looking just fine. You can't imagine that. It was just weird for me to watch. It was great. And that's Caldu's ace up the sleeve. Oh, you have fans? Here comes JT.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, he's not coming back. But
yeah, no, I mean, I think, he now presents himself as someone, if we get to the next round, obviously, as someone who can come in if the time is right. Like if the Leafs go up 2-0, he's not coming back until like later in the series. If the Leafs are down to 0-2, then like you'll see.
Yeah, he's gonna rush back.
You'll see him come out, with to some evil villain music, but. It was just nice to, I don't know, it was nice to watch him just skate. And my second thought though was that I know we've been joking about it, but I genuinely think he might be a robot. and he just had to go get a chip replaced because this dude, you just can't keep him out. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit because of the type of personalities the other three are, like Nylander's out there. Marner has kind of been like a lightning rod, especially since the contract negotiations, and Matthews is Matthews. Tavares keeps getting like this disrespect in the sense that people don't remember how good the guy is. Like when he signed here, since he
like
got
low
into the
key,
league,
amazing.
he's been a top 3 scorer. Like
Yeah.
Before he signed to the Leafs, every news outlet, every analyst, every reporter, oh my God, John Tavares is the free agent. This is the greatest free agent of all time. Whoever lands him is going to be so lucky. Signs with Toronto. Oh, $11 million. He's only averaging a point per game with them. You expect more out of it. It's just whenever something happens to us, the narrative just switches, and then it's like, oh, but they're paying him $11 million. He should be dropping 100 points. Shut up. He's so good at what he does. If he was on the Islanders the last 3 seasons, he'd be their leading scorer all 3 years.
Oh, by far too, wouldn't it be?
It wouldn't be
check the actual stats there, but I'm fucking saying it. That's it.
I mean, the Sharks were gonna give him 13 million. Like I don't.
That's what I was gonna actually just say.
USD, and it's less tax back there than it is here. He's only making basically 8.5 here.
I don't know. Like it's been bothering me all season. Like the disrespect he gets, and like sometimes it's not direct disrespect. It's just I'm like, do you guys remember who this is? Like just because we have like Matthews and Marner doesn't mean Tavares is like he's a superstar. Like I think if we created a Team Canada today, he's on it. So like let's put some respect on it, right? Like that's
also. I'm going on record. Willie is elite in the playoffs. Don't at me. I'm not starting this.
I think at you, I'll be there defending you because like fuck these people. Like honestly, Willie's a beast, man.
He's just completely turned it to another level, too. It's like I'm half expecting him to fight someone now.
It's insane. Like all season, he was really good, and then the playoffs hit, and it just looks like he's hit a different gear.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, so go ahead.
Even Matthews and Marner haven't been that great. Like for what you expect.
Matthews off the puck though has been great. Like he hasn't had the goals, but he's been great off the puck. He's been coming back and playing D. Like I actually have loved his game.
He's actually a really good two-way center.
He was never going to get credit for it, but he is.
Of course not.
But because we brought up Nylander as well, who would be your, I know it's tough after a loss, but who's your top 3 stars?
Probably go with Nylander. I'm still saying Campbell because he played well when he needed to. That 2-0 wasn't him.
Yeah.
And you got to say Muzzin.
Yeah.
Your D-Pot's 2 goals, you got to give it to Muzzin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I completely
when
get
someone
that.
scores 2 goals, you got to give him 1.
Yeah, you if you score 2 goals in the playoffs and you don't get a star, like whoever's giving out the stars are a bunch of idiots, right? So, shit, man, it was.
Also, I just want to touch back on something you said when we talk about Matthews and being a two-way center and how, and I want to go back to another thing we talking about how everything changes when the narrative is about Toronto. You know how much people loud about Mark Stone and his takeaways and how good he is responsibly defensively? You know who was always right beside him in takeaways or ahead of him in takeaways? Auston Matthews. But no. He's a goal scorer. He's not a two-way center. No. Fuck off.
Him and Willie both are incredibly good with like little stick checks.
Yeah.
And they're so quick.
Like by the time he uses his brain and his stick. Like Matthews is more prominent. You notice it more because he takes it so effortlessly and cleanly. Willie's not as clean with his takeaways. But he'll go in the corner. He'll use his body to kind of shield it, just quickly snatch it, and the play's going the other way.
Yeah, and he just slides out.
Yeah.
If you expect him to get hit, he's just like, whoop, I'm out.
Yeah, no, that was honestly that side though. That was like the feeling at the end of that. I was like, fuck, like we didn't really get OT. Like, like it went into OT, but
it was like
we didn't really get to sink into OT. Like the first few minutes, you just got to go back and forth, and then you think, okay, now we're in overtime. And it was just such an empty feeling because of a mistake. And I was just like, fuck. Like, and of all fucking people on that 2-on-0, because now I have to fucking hear about it from these goddamn Habs fans. That
No.
the midget of all midgets. Like,
You want to know what pissed me off? Nick Suzuki scored the goal. The camera panned to Cole Caulfield the whole time, and the announcers are just talking about Cole Caulfield. Nick
Suzuki's
Suzuki
good though.
scored.
I actually like Suzuki. Like Suzuki's a great player, I think.
No, my point is,
Yeah.
Suzuki scored
And
everything on Caulfield.
But the
What?
narrative, right? Because it's the same way their narrative with Josh Anderson was dominating the first half of the season. He was, again, I keep bringing this up, but the way they talked about him, it was Eric Lindros had sex with Wayne Gretzky and they produced Josh Anderson.
I mean, if you're gonna melt someone together, I guess. Although probably pretty weak on that one.
God damn it. I had to lose because I was also looking forward to listening to that Montreal podcast.
Yeah.
That would have been great, a post like that loss, but now we have to fucking hear them go off and say motherfucker like 17 times. And all that.
Is it even them? It's just the one dude yelling, and the girls get like 5 seconds each to say something.
Is that the one that goes by Hab Slut or something like that?
No. Actually, is she one of them? No, the one of them is that chili pepper girl.
The Chipotle or chili pepper, whatever.
And I don't know who the other girl is. I don't.
Never seen her around.
I'm blocked by chili.
Because I tweeted one thing at her, and it wasn't even that rude. It was just like, haha, Habs lost, blocked. I'm like, what?
Yeah, she's super sensitive.
I just suggested she should seek out medical attention for possible brain trauma. I was being polite.
Honestly, she's blocked for less. So yeah, no, they're very sensitive.
She blocked me, and I was like, that's fair. Okay,
no, honestly, they're a sensitive bunch, and it's interesting to just kind of observe that. I actually was trying to float under the radar just so I could observe how it is once the series started. But then she went private too, and I was like, well, fuck me. Because if you follow her and she sees Leafs in all your tweets, she's gonna be like, nah, fuck that block.
Yeah.
Well,
their team's good. I don't like them.
Well, any last thoughts or predictions for our next game?
I think the next game they're going to come out flying, and I think they're going to dominate. Because after losing this game, they have to come out and show it.
Yeah, and you.
This is one of those games where it's like, show us you can do it, and 2 seconds in, like, nope, we're going home.
It wasn't even great goals, and that's what pissed me off. And I was like, all right. But I was like, no, I'm not losing hope because I was absolutely convinced we were going to tie it. So I was like, I wasn't losing hope there. Just the OT, I had no clue.
There was too much puck watching in front of Jack.
Yeah.
Like, there were too many people just standing there. Like, the second goal Sandin gave away, the I think it's a 3 or 2-0 goal.
Yeah.
Engvall just stood there. He could have tried to tie a stick up, something. Just no, let him stay in front of the crease.
I was surprised about that. I was surprised about Engvall because he's been pretty much on the ball and on the puck a lot this series. So yeah. I was surprised that he was so lackadaisical, but it seemed that every one of our just split-second mistakes cost us today.
Yeah.
And it happens. It's not that Montreal is such a great team that they're taking advantage of it that well, it just happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole basis of Montreal is to capitalize on mistakes. So when you're going to have little mistakes, that's what they do, right? Like, it's not, there's not much other than not making mistakes you can do to cover them.
All right, before we wrap it up, one more question for both of you guys. So I think as the game went on, Keith kind of shortened it up to 3 lines, didn't really play the fourth line much. But the problem with benching Thornton is that you kind of bench Spezza with it.
Mhm.
Do you find a way to move him up at points to get him some minutes, or do you just run 3 lines and it is what it is, Spets?
I think you send Mikheyev to the 4th and put Spezza up there. Like I've just watching Mikheyev this series. It's what has he done? Like I get he's responsible defensively. He comes back, he plays well, but once that puck passes the red line and you're going to the offensive zone, he can't make a pass to save his life. He can't receive a pass to save his life. And for some reason, with all that speed, he's doing what Kapanen used to do. Come in from the wing and just never crash the net. Just get like a lackadaisical shot off from outside. That's never going to have a chance. Spezza's so much more impactful for the team. And if you're cutting your lines down, you cut your least impactful player in your top 9, and that's Mikheyev.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, you got to get Spets in there. He's showing he's coming to play. And so when you need to go, you want someone that's going to do it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, absolutely. I think Spezza needs to
go.
get some time. Yeah, it's just I don't know where it comes from. The other thing is with if Lino comes in now, who comes out?
Brooks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
True. Brooks is there. Brooks, I even completely forgot Brooks even existed.
Exactly.
Fuck. Yeah. Brooks comes out. Yeah, that's not even a question. All right, well, that was a good one, guys. Again, shitty way to end, but it is what it is.
Life, man.
Saturday,
It ain't for the good
I guess
days. You
after
won't live
watch
up
this
to
and
that.
drink. So I don't want to have to do. But
Tomorrow's
gonna have
Friday, and
to.
I got 2 Habs fans at work to listen to.
Fuck. Good luck with that. Yeah, just make sure when we win, you become unbearable.
Oh, I told them today, I'm like, if we win, if you guys thought I was bad when the Leafs never won a series, imagine what you're going to get tomorrow if we do win today. And they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I can't. Well, you're going to have to wait until Monday, but you can talk shit on me.
Just call and put me on speakerphone so I can yell at them too.
All right, guys, it was a pleasure as always. Let's do this again.
All right, have a good one, guys.
After
Cheers.
the win.
Cheers.